Yeah. Well, what they're showing is accurate.
I'd like to call to order the Lower Macungie Township Board of Commissioners regular meeting for June 18th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Could you please join me for a pledge to the flag of the United States of America? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For the roll call, everyone that's scheduled to attend is here this evening. Item 4, there are no agenda modifications. Item 5, announcements and presentations. We have none this evening. Item 6, hearings and approvals. 6.1, public hearing request to vacate a portion of Locust Lane. I temporarily adjourned this stated meeting of the Lower Macungie Township Board of Commissioners for the purpose of conducting a public hearing regarding the vacation of a portion of Locust Lane pursuant to the First Class Township Code. I note that there is a court stenographer present to record a transcript of this hearing. I am now turning over the floor to the Township Solicitor to conduct the hearing. Mark.
Thank you, President Beitler. Good evening and welcome to this public hearing of the Lower Macungie Township Board of Commissioners. My name is Mark Fisher and I am the Township Solicitor. First, I would like to note for the record those present for the hearing. The members of the Board of Commissioners present tonight are President Ronald Beitler, Vice President Wesley Barrett, Commissioner Melissa Bozak, and Commissioner Stephanie Rafis. Also present are Township Manager Bruce Beidel, Assistant Township Manager and Secretary Renee Flexer, Township Engineer Brian McAdam, and Director of Public Works Doug Sisko. This is a hearing regarding the vacation of a portion of Locust Lane in the township. The hearing is being held as a requirement of the First Class Township Code at 53 PS Section 57007, which requires the Board of Commissioners to hold a hearing before enacting any ordinance vacating any portion of a street or highway. The code also requires that the township give 10 days written notice of the time and place of the hearing to the owners of the properties adjacent to the portion of the road being vacated. After the hearing, the board will vote on whether to proceed with vacating the subject portion of Locust Lane. Then we will prepare a report and agreement that gets recorded with Lehigh County Recorder of Deeds. After that is recorded, there's a 30-day period for which any interested party could file an exception to the report, and thereafter the township, if no exceptions are filed, the township can adopt the ordinance vacating a portion of the road. So this is, we've discussed this several times at this point, this is step 1 of 3, if you will, on the vacation of this portion of the road. The portion of Locust Lane at issue is bordered on its west edge by 1611 Locust Lane, Albertus, PA, in number 546-414-129-520-1, which is owned by David Jandal. And along its east edge, it is bordered by 1672 Burdell Lane, Albertus, PA, which is PIN number 546-414-421-954-1. And that property is owned by Adam Puskar and Logan Michelle Puskar. On June 5th, 2025, the township sent written notices of the time and place of this hearing to David Jandal and to Adam Puskar and Logan Michelle Puskar via email and U.S. mail. The township also published public notice of the hearing in the East Penn Press. Based on discussions to this point with Mr. Jandal and with Mr. and Mrs. Puskar, they are each in agreement with the vacation of this portion of Locust Lane. As for the procedure of the hearing, the rest of the hearing, I'm going to introduce in a second the township's exhibits for the record, and then I will call upon Township Manager Bruce Beitel to just give some background and explain why this portion of the road is being vacated. Then we'll ask the commissioners if there's any questions or comments on the vacation. Follow that by asking if there's anyone from the public here to ask any questions or make any statements with respect to the vacation of the road. After all that's finished, we'll close the record, and then the commissioners can vote on whether to proceed with vacating. And that will set off the rest of those processes that I mentioned a minute ago. The township exhibits that I would like to introduce into the record, I'll identify them now, and a copy will be given to the court reporter. Exhibit 1 is 2 sketches showing the portion of the road that's being vacated and the lands adjacent thereto. Exhibit 2 is the email and the letter that was sent to David Jandal that I referenced earlier, dated June 5th, 2026, and it enclosed a copy of the legal notice that was published for the public hearing. Exhibit 3 is the similar email and letter that was sent to the Puskars, dated June 5th, also enclosing a copy of the legal notice. And then Exhibit 4 is the proof of publication for the published notice in the East Penn Press. At this point, I would ask that Bruce Beitel provide the background and brief explanation of what led to this portion of the road to be vacated, and then we'll address any comments.
Thank you, Solicitor Fisher, and for the board and public. As part of the original Spring Creek Settlement subdivision, the Mertztown Road Housing Plan and subdivision was created. As such, it required a reconfiguration of Locust Lane at the area of Brookdale Road. This reconfiguration created Watson Street and changed the position of Locust Lane to intersect with Watson to the westernly component instead of at Brookdale Road. With that, it's not necessary to have the right-of-way in its current location, and this vacation of 0.513 acres. As such, and the solicitor described, 0.181 of those available acres would be to Lot 1 of the Mertztown subdivision, with the remaining 0.332 acres vacated to 1672 Burdell Lane in the Pushcars. As the solicitor has said, we've heard feedback from both of the property owners, and they are in agreement with this process to this point.
Thank you, Mr. Beitel. In case I misspoke a minute ago, I may have said that the notices were sent on June 5th, 2025. I meant June 5th, 2026. Just in case I made that mistake, I'm clarifying for the record. With that, does any commissioner have any question for Mr. Beitel or myself regarding the vacation of Locust Lane? Okay, hearing none. Does any member of the public have any public comment or questions regarding the vacation of Locust Lane as described? Okay, hearing none. President Beitler, this concludes the public hearing on this matter. The board can now close the hearing, resume the stated meeting, and then take the vote on whether to proceed with the remaining procedures on the vacation of the portion of Locust Lane. So I turn it back to you.
All right, thank you. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing and resume tonight's stated meeting?
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Commissioner Barrett. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rafis. All those in favor, state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing closed. Do I have a motion to approve the vacation of the identified portion of Locust Lane and directing the solicitor to prepare the required report and agreement?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Barrett. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bosak. I'll call for the roll call vote. Renee?
Commissioner Barrett,
Aye.
Commissioner Bozak,
Aye.
Commissioner Rafis,
Aye.
Commissioner Beitler.
Aye. By 4 ayes, motion passed.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, moving on. Item 7, public comment on non-agenda topics. Silence. All right. Item 8, communication. Bruce.
Thank you. Just 2 items this evening. The first, Agnes Muzio from Butternut Lane expressed some concerns for the size of the trash toter required by the trash contract. I've prepared a written response and will be reaching out. And then item 8.2, Jessica Rosenbrook has submitted her letter of resignation from the Planning Commission.
All right, thank you, Bruce. I would think everybody read the letter from that gentleman, and I did talk to Bruce about it. I don't know if there's anything we could do to help him. You know, he's in his mid-90s, I believe. Just as a goodwill, I would like, if there's any possible thing we can do, I would like to see it done. All right, moving on. Item 9, appointments to various boards, committees, and commissions. There are none this evening. I'll let Commissioner sit down.
Sorry, can I just clarify? For the Planning Commission, what is the next steps for filling that?
So there's actually, the resignation starts a 90-day time clock where we take 60 days to get applications, and we'll put it out there saying that we have the vacancy, and then the board has to appoint within 90 days.
Okay.
Anybody that anybody that's on file and have been interviewed, they don't have to go through the interview process again. I know that you were not on the board when the previous ones were interviewed, but I could certainly send you that in an email. And then anybody that's new that has not been interviewed, you would have to conduct interviews most likely at the July or August workshop.
Okay, thank you.
Right, moving on. Item 10, approval of minutes of previous meetings.
Move to approve.
I have a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting from June 4th, 2028. Do I have a second?
I'll make that second.
I have a second by Commissioner Barrett. Do I have any commissioner or public comments? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. Minutes approved. Approval of transfers, bill list, and payroll. Bruce.
Thank you. We have the following for your consideration this evening. The general fund, $562,972.57. The solid waste fund, $346. The sewer fund, $6,897.02. The debt service fund, $127,850.34. The capital projects fund, $14,611.25. The open space maintenance fund, $24,695.40. The payroll, $192,359.96. The developer escrow, $68,832.41. Total of all funds, $998,564.95.
Move to approve.
I have a motion to approve the bill list of June 18th, 2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Rafis. Any commissioner or public comments? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Bill list approved. Item 12, 12.1, department reports. Are there any director updates this evening?
I think you're it, Doug. You're it.
I don't have any unless there's any public work questions.
Are there any questions for Doug with Public Works? All right, Doug, no questions.
All right, all's good.
All right, moving on. We got to ask the engineer some questions. All right. 12.2, engineering. Engineers project status report. Engineer McAdam.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing in particular to report other than our monthly report is included in the packet. If anyone reads through it, you'll notice that we made some adjustments this month. We got rid of a bunch of projects that were done and just kind of lingering, and we've updated things to make it as up to date as possible. And I mention that only because quite a few things were able to come out of the report that we're relieving more as placeholders, just reminders of what's been going on. But it is current, and if you have any questions, please.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Engineer McAdam?
Don't feel obligated to have questions. It's perfectly okay if you don't.
No, I did want to ask Doug a question. I forgot. Do we have any updates on the railroad crossing work that's planned, I think, for this summer?
There's been some movement. They've been placing some signs on Route 100. I tried making calls today. It's a moving closure, so they're working away from Allentown. They cannot give a definite date when they're going to be there.
Okay.
They said when they do get there, it's going to be within 24 to 36 hours closure. The detour route was approved, but at this point, I don't have a definite date because they do so many miles a day. So it all depends on how many miles they get. So hopefully it's soon. It's coming soon. But
Okay.
if I can find out, I will let everybody know and we'll post it on the website.
Is it three crossings or?
The only crossing going to affect us is Gaiman and Shonik.
Okay, great. Thanks.
All right. Well, I'm gonna ask a question from way back, but when you're leaving, when you're entering Church Lane from the giant parking lot, at the would be the like the northeast exit. It's a right out only, heading toward the Church Lane Bridge, and coming in, it's a right turn only in. When you're going toward Lower Macungie Road, you cannot make a left. I travel that road several times a week, not a day, and I just hit a condition this past week. Not only was somebody making a left coming out, which is a violation, they were also coming down Church Lane, making a left in. And boy, what a mess. And I know Engineer McAdam, we talked about this before, and you were possibly going to look into this if there was anything we could do with changing that configuration. And the reason I wanted it looked into at the time was we're directing all the traffic to Church Lane Bridge is something we're trying to preserve. But is everybody familiar with that intersection?
I am, and I'll jump in. I know Ms. Flexer actually pulled all that stuff. That was several years ago. We had some conversations internally, and now I need to pick back up on where that got left off. So it's on the radar. Like I said, I know Renee had done a lot of due diligence to pull previous plans, so I just have to check on it for you.
Do people not realize there's two other exits?
Right, yeah, that's
that
what I was
you
gonna
can
say.
make a left?
They do realize it, and I know we can't fix a condition that these drivers may have, but it happens all the time, and that's the way I go out because I go to the credit union instead of going out of my way to come out the exit I should be using, but it is an exit out. So I make a right and then I take a cruise down 100 and go over Spring Creek Road. But it happens, you can bet on it. You wouldn't be sitting there 5 minutes and you would see it.
Yeah.
And
Was it a safety issue to allow a left turn there?
I don't know the history of it. I know, Mari, you made some comments on it when this came up a few years ago. And maybe there's nothing we can do, but from Bruce's memory, we did look into it back then.
We did, and I have to go back and refresh where we were with it. I know it was on one of the land development plans that required the right in, right out. So I just have to look at it. I can't remember, to be honest with you. I don't want to misspeak here.
Yep, and our bridge, I mean, I don't know if you know the history of that bridge. If that bridge would ever have a catastrophic failure, we can't replace it. It's got to be replaced in kind with wood. It cannot be replaced with steel beams, if I have my history right.
I believe if it gets replaced with steel beams, it has to then be raised for the double-decker train cars to be able to pass under it, which would be very restrictive as there's a cemetery on the westernly portion of that street.
That is the situation. If it's to be replaced, it has to be raised up to support the double-decker cars, and it would be, for at least the township finances, certainly prohibitively expensive, because the grade adjustments you would need on either side to accommodate that additional height, you've got, at a minimum, you've got a cemetery on one side. So you'd need retaining walls. It would just be an astronomical cost. If it does have some sort of failure, you're correct. It has to be replaced. I think the way they wanted it done was in kind, but I think the reason nobody would want to replace a wooden bridge with a wooden bridge is that's just not how it's done anymore. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what prompted the railroad company to make this condition, but that has been something that's been discussed between Bruce and myself and our staff. I don't recall if Doug was around when we had originally had these discussions as part of all of the different bridge inspections that we had done and the reporting that we do. But this one is, if something goes wrong, it's probably just going to have to be closed.
Right, and also a little history. It did get closed for a good length of time, and the reason it was closed for a good length of time was trying to find that timber. And I forget where they got it out west, but again, Renee, you might remember that. To get the timber to replace it in kind was something that took, I think it took months to get it.
Yeah, I remember when it was closed.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what makes me talk about that in and out condition, because people who obey coming out of their right turn only, they're heading for that bridge. And
well, if I remember correctly, the reason for making it right in and right out was basically to discourage trucks from using that exit. But I don't think the trucks are really an issue, and so I would be in favor of going ahead and making it a full functioning intersection.
okay, if we all agree, if Engineer McAdam, you could look into that, please.
Okay.
Willie, you had a question. Okay, any more questions for the engineer? I knew you'd get some questions there, Brian.
Yeah, I kind of would have liked a heads up. I don't remember when we talked about that, but I'll discuss with Bruce and see what him and Renee were able to find out. And we'll look into making it, as I'm looking at Google Earth, I mean, I see the right in, right out. And I also see the other access onto Church where it looks like you can make rights and lefts out.
Correct.
It's only the one that was restricted to right in, right out. This particular development predates me probably by a good amount, so I can't tell you what prompted the design to be the way it is, to have a right in, right out at that one location where there's no street, that conflicts with it. And then the other one, just, a couple 100 feet away, has permitted lefts. It just seems kind of unusual, but I have to think that there was a reason that it was done that way. So we'll see. And as far as being able to make the current right in, right out a full access, we can certainly look into it.
All right, moving on. 12.3, Solicitor. Mark's report, please.
So I handled my business with our hearing earlier. Thank you for your indulgence with that. And then we'll get that report, and it actually will include an agreement from the property owners, as we stated during the hearing. And hopefully we'll get that in front of you guys in July to approve and keep that moving. And then with that, I don't have anything else to report, and unless there's any questions for me.
Any questions for Mark? Okay. 12.4, Township Manager. Bruce.
Thank you. I have nothing to report this evening, with the exception that our workshop is this Monday, as you'll see below in item 14.1. I would, put out to the public that our financial auditors will be here to review the 2025 township financial statements. So always want to make sure that we have that out there for the public, as well as some additional topics from the agenda that Ms. Flexer will be posting up or has been posted already. So that's all I have unless there's questions.
Any questions for Bruce? None.
Well, okay, so jumping ahead a little bit from the unfinished business, the official map, we had discussions about what ought to be included in the new official map, and I don't recall it being approved, seeing a final draft of that or it being approved or any of that stuff.
The planning director has worked on revisions. We'll look for fairly soon to have an executive with the board about that land acquisition component so that we can review that. So it is in process, almost complete.
So should it be added to the unfinished business?
We can add it there, sure.
Okay.
All right. Item 13, unfinished business. We covered some unfinished business by Commissioner Robert. I do not have any other scheduled unfinished business for this evening. Item 14, Board of Commissioners reports. The next board workshop is June 22nd, 2026 at 6 p.m. The next regular board meeting is July 18th, 2026 at 6 p.m. No meeting on July 2nd. There was no executive session this evening required before or after tonight's meeting. It is 6:30. This meeting is adjourned.